At the beginning of a study Bible or a Bible commentary, it's common to find an overview of the structure and information that you're going to find in that biblical book. But have you ever stopped to ask, what is this table of contents doing? How is a table of contents supposed to help us understand the meaning and message of the biblical material? Well, today we're going to take a quick look at Genesis 12 and see the way that the structure of Genesis increases the significance and meaning of this important passage. In Genesis chapter 12, God calls Abraham and makes a promise to this man that he will work through Abraham and his family, and through Abraham, all the families of the earth will be blessed. This is a profound promise that structures the rest of the Bible, but it takes on even increased significance when we understand the structure of Genesis that precedes it. You see, from Genesis 3 through Genesis 11, the Bible recounts the story of sin, and it's spread throughout the world, and it bringing death everywhere that it goes. That all humanity is subject to the penalty of sin, resulting in death. But at each point, there is an episode and a segment of God's grace that is always present. For example, in Genesis chapter 3, when Adam and Eve eat the fruit from the forbidden tree, they sin, they bring on themselves judgment, but God provides great grace by giving them animal skins that serve as their clothing. When Cain murders his brother Abel, he doesn't bring on himself immediate death. Instead, he's banished from the land, but God preserves his life. Later in that same chapter, we read of an evil man named Lamech, who is vengeful and arrogant and proud of his violence. And he is contrasted with the son Seth from Adam and Eve, through whom we will receive the righteous line. We read of Noah and the world in Noah's day, where everyone was evil. And God brings on the entire world judgment, but preserves the family of Noah. We see this continual pattern of sin, judgment, grace. And then we get to Genesis chapter 11, and the beginning of that pattern continues. We see the people of the world sinning. Instead of spreading throughout the earth and filling the earth as God commanded Adam and Eve, they are all gathered together around Babel, trying to build a city for themselves and a tower that reaches up to heaven. God comes down and confuses their languages, forcing the people to disperse. We see sin and judgment, but there's no grace. The pattern is interrupted. As readers, we're expecting to see some sense of God's grace, but we don't get it in Genesis 11. And then we come to Genesis chapter 12. And all of a sudden, the significance of the Abraham episode shines even brighter. Because Abraham is providing an element of grace. Not simply the grace that's missing from the Babel episode, but instead the grace that is needed to undo the effects of the fall that have been described and seen from Genesis 3 all the way through Genesis 11. So the structure of the book of Genesis highlights the importance of this Abraham promise, because Abraham and God's promise to Abraham is the greatest expression of grace by which God is going to undo the effects of the fall. For more on this idea, I encourage you to check out last week's sermon at Grace Hill Church. My name is Cooper, and I'm the pastor at Grace Hill, and this has been a deeper dive into Genesis chapter 12, verses 1 through 3.